In remaining few minutes, what I want to say is about the possible insights that this story and the way how I tell it might have for events today in the region and the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Well, one of the main arguments of the book is that the Soviet Union fell not because of the relations between Russia and the center, not because of the politics of the policies of the United States, but because two largest constituent parts of the Union, Russia and Ukraine, couldn't agree on modus vivendi. And what we see now is actually a replaying of the same theme now 23, 24 years later. Russia signs economic agreement with Belarus and Kazakhstan. The Kazakh leader was also invited in Belarus in December of 1991, but for a number of reasons didn't come. So there is a clear gap there, and that gap is Ukraine. So Ukraine didn't sign. And what you saw over the period of the last year in terms of the Russian-Ukrainian relations, that was in many ways an attempt to actually get Ukraine on board. Certainly losing Ukraine after the February revolution and Maidan events in January and February of this year. And now at play are the two regions that were very much also in the headlines in the summer and fall of 1991. And they are Crimea, the only region in Ukraine where the ethnic Ukrainians constituted the minority and ethnic Russians constituted the majority, and Donbass, where again the Russian minority is on books it is a minority, but in cultural and every other term it is a majority. For the first time, these two regions were called by name in a statement that was made by certain Pavel Vashenov, who was, in August of 1991, Yeltsin's spokesman. And at that time, what was happening immediately after the coup, Yeltsin took away almost all of Gorbachev's powers, forcing him to cancel his own decrees appointing Minister of Defense, the head of the KGB, and appointing his own people instead. Russia was taken over effectively the Soviet Union. And it was at that time that from the Yeltsin's office, there were warnings sent to republics, to Ukraine, Kazakhstan and others, and Crimea and Donbass were mentioned, that if these countries leave the Soviet Union, that would mean the end of the agreements that Russia had with those republics regarding the borders. Borders would not be recognized anymore. And areas like Crimea and Donbass could be claimed by Russia. It didn't work in the way how Yeltsin envisioned that in August of 1991. The reason for that was the rebellion of the republics. Not only Ukraine declared independence, but every other republic declared independence at that time. And the United States didn't want that to happen. So the position of the White House was really very important. And after that, Yeltsin changes the course. But this particular regions were already there from the very beginning.